Hello everybody and welcome back to Deck Tech for Decks, and man am I excited to get into this one. But before we get started, all I ask is if you enjoyed the video, please like and consider subscribing. Alright guys, let's get into this. This is a Najeela the Blade Blossom MaskWood Nexus token swarm deck. Yes, it's a mouthful, but that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's kick this deck tech off with a bang. Everyone knows the lines of text at the beginning of each upkeep are feared by every commander player. So we went ahead and threw a bunch of cards in there that do exactly that. Like Beledros Witherbloom. He's going to create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. Additionally, he'll be able to untap our lands for 10 life, which is not going to be an issue with Najeela's ability to give all of our creatures lifelink. Dragon Broodmother. Again, at the beginning of each upkeep, we're going to create a 1/1 red dragon creature token with Devour 2. We are going to make these dragons massive because when they come into the battlefield, we're going to sacrifice a bunch of little tokens and end up with some pretty massive dragons. Coma Cosmos Serpent. You knew this guy was going to be in here. He's annoying and super hard to deal with. As soon as he enters the battlefield, if you don't deal with him right away, it's going to be an issue. Tindershoot Dryad. Not as insane as the other ones, but we're going to welcome him. Wolverine Rider. This guy's notable because he creates elf warrior creature tokens, so that's just going to help our commander out. Toxrill the Corrosive. This guy's a menace. If he survives the turn around the table, not only are we going to have a massive board state, but our opponents are going to have nothing left. We can then sacrifice that massive board state to draw cards. It's pretty insane. Lastly, I'll leave you guys with a little card advantage. Benny Brax Zoologist. This guy, he's going to see that we created a token on each of our opponent's upkeep, and we're going to go ahead and draw a card for each of those tokens we created. Additionally, we're just going to be creating a lot of tokens in several different ways, so this guy's going to be really useful in the deck. Alright guys, let's just jump into the rest of the token generation. We have Tyrannid Hiriden. This guy's a lot better than people think, because at first look, he's like, if it's not Tyrannid Tribal, don't throw him in there. But let me sell you on this guy, right? First time he attacks, whatever, you're going to create one Tyrannid, right? Then there's 2, and then out of nowhere 4, and then out of nowhere 8. He doubles every time. It's really useful. Next up, we have Chatterfang Squirrel General. This guy, every time we create a token, he's going to go ahead and create a token. Pretty broken. Additionally, guys, just think of when we get MaskWood Nexus onto the battlefield, it's going to make Tyrannid Hiriden and Chatterfang really efficient, because then we're going to be able to sacrifice those squirrel tokens to either pump our creatures or destroy our opponents. Death Tyrant. Whenever one of our creatures dies, we're going to just go ahead and create another token. Pretty good. Adrix and Nev. This is just going to double up our tokens. Parallel Lives. Again, let's double them up. And finally, Anointed Processions. I think you guys see where this is going. Reese the Redeemed. Again, it's just going to create a massive board. Once we get to 6 mana, boom, it'll double all of our tokens. Additionally, there's that warrior keyword again, so pay attention to that. Alright guys, let's take a look at some of those miscellaneous cards. We have MaskWood Nexus. This is going to turn our commander into a house. After we create all of those tokens tokens are going to be considered warriors, and then we're going to create a massive board state. Tyrannid Prime, I'm giving this guy a try, right? I mean, it's a token strategy. Every time a creature enters the battlefield of greater power, all of our other creatures are going to go ahead and evolve. It seems interesting. Brutal Horde Chief. I do not envy our opponents for us including this in the deck, right? We get to choose how they block, and they're going to take life for us just attacking them before we even connect. Champion of Leonholt. All of our tokens are going to be unblockable, which is insane. It does not take much to power this girl up, and once she is powered up, basically all of our creatures are going to be unblockable. Marisi, Breaker of the Coil. We're going to be attacking a lot. Everybody else should be attacking a lot, right? It's not fair that we're the only ones putting in work. Cathar's Crusade. We're already creating a massive board. Might as well just pump it full of steroids, right? Impact Trimmers. Whenever one of those tokens enters the battlefield, people are just going to be taking damage for it. Why not include Perforos, God of the Forge, while we're at it? Next up, we have Mishra, claimed by Gix. Another one that's just going to drain our opponents every time we attack. Notably, this is for the amount that we're attacking with, so it'll hit all of our opponents. Bramble Sovereign. You know what's worse than one creature that triggers at the beginning of each upkeep? 2 creatures that trigger at the beginning of each upkeep. Am I right? Guardian of Faith. We are creating a massive board. We want to protect that board, and sometimes we want to protect it out of nowhere. So this guy comes in handy. Bring to Light. This is going to tutor up for any of our bombs in the deck. Notably, if they're above 5 mana, we won't be able to hit it, but as long as we spend Wooburg on this, anything 5 mana and below, we'll be able to tutor onto the battlefield. No, not hand, battlefield. I can already see people rushing to the comments. There's no way this deck is going to work. The mana costs are everywhere and the ramp just isn't going to be there. Well, that's where you're wrong, because we are using treasure tokens with Smothering Tithe. This card's insane. Everybody knows it's insane. Not a secret. Pitiless Plunderer. Every time one of our creatures dies, we're just going to go ahead and get a treasure token off of that. Notably, it and the little squirrely thing go infinite. Professional Facebreaker. It's not going to be hard to trigger this guy, and it doubles as card advantage, so you got to love that. Black Market Connections. This card does everything we want to do. 1, it creates a creature. 2, it's going to go ahead and draw us a card. And 3, it's going to create a treasure token. All the things we want to do. Grim Hireling. Not only is this one ramp, but it can also be doubled as removal. You got to have overlap in those decks, guys. Let's go ahead and knock out the rest of the ramp while we're at it. I've been doing something in my 5-color decks that I find really useful. It's including all of the signets with green in them. So that's Arcane, Golgari, Gruul, Selesnya, Simic. And that's just going to ensure that you have a really high chance of having green in your starting hand. And then you'll be able to cast cards like Farseek, 3 Visits, Nature's Lore, and that'll go ahead and get you a Tri-Land, which is going to unlock even more of your colors, right? Pretty insane. Once we have all of our colors unlocked, we'll be able to abuse cards like Bloom Tender and Fairbrew Elder. And finally, no token strategy is complete without including Cryptolith Rites and Ashnod's Altar. Alright guys, let's look at that card advantage. We have Marnius Calgar. This guy's going to be pretty crazy in the deck, right? Because we're creating all of those treasure tokens and all of those tokens in general. So he's going to draw us a lot of cards. Toski, Bearer of Secrets. We're going wide, so we're going to connect with a lot of creatures, hopefully. Gix. Not only is this going to incentivize our opponents to attack, but it's going to draw us some cards while we're at it. Again, guys, if we can lower our opponent's health by making them go at each other, that's just going to help our game plan. Speaking of having our opponents go at each other, we are running Edric Spymaster. This guy's going to ensure that we're not the ones being attacked and everybody's going to go at each other's throat just for that sweet, sweet card advantage. Biden of Thassa, Coastal Piracy, Reconnaissance Mission. These are all really efficient ways to draw cards in a go-wide strategy. Moving on, we are running Krav the Unredeemed. We're not going to run the partner because effer, right? We just want to sacrifice X creature tokens and draw X cards. That'll gain us some life and make this guy massive while we do it. Skull Clamp, again, this is token strategy, so this had to go in there. Rumor Gatherer. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite cards to throw in a token strategy because Scry is super useful, especially when you're creating as much tokens as we are. Additionally, it will draw us a card and there's no cap on that Scry, so let's abuse it. Sylvan Library. I included this card because we are going to be gaining a lot of life, so I only include this in decks where you're going to be paying 8 because why would you include it just to look at the top 3, right? No, we're going to be paying 8, we're going to be drawing 3 cards, and we're going to be gaining life right after that. Alright guys, let's move on to removal. We are running Butcher of Malakir. There's that warrior word again. And Ore Shards. This one's going to be crazy. No one's going to be able to keep anything on the board. So we like that. Assassin's Trophy, just really efficient removal. Beast Within, again, targets a permanent. Generous Gift, targets a permanent. Anguished Unmaking, targets a permanent. We are going to have really efficient permanent removal in this deck. Fell the Mighty, destroy all creatures with power greater than target creatures. If we target a 1/1, everything above that dies. This can be a one-sided board wipe, but it's 9 times out of 10 going to hit us a little too. Blasphemous Act, this is going to cost 1 mana almost every time we cast it, so it's just going to be really efficient. Alright guys, if you made it this far, please drop a like and consider subscribing. Let me know if you enjoyed the deck tech, any cards you think I should take out, or if you think it's going to work in general. Thank you guys for watching.